We have unfortunately taken this word spiritual and we have segregated it from these things that are secular, when the truth is everything is spiritual. Everything. Even the mundane, even the ordinary. Can you see that? I know that probably is difficult for some people to get their minds around, but the presence of God is infinite. That's what David is saying. It's everywhere, always, forever. You cannot not be in the presence of God. But we have allowed ourselves to become slaves to our feelings. Everybody say spirituality. Just the utterance of that word makes it ethereal, unearthly, right? But I think that this psalm shows us that spirituality is not unearthly. It's not ethereal. It's not strange. It doesn't belong to the Pentecostals. I can say that because I was raised in Pentecostalism. But, I'm just being very honest with you. Sometimes I don't feel very spiritual. Because like most people, I have these lapses in my understanding of what spirituality really is. Am I talking to the right group of people? I can go through protracted periods of times where I feel spiritually numb. And when I get around people that are always, making these statements, well, the Lord said to me, right? Or they're talking about these grandiose experiences, encounters they have. I'm just being honest with you how that makes me feel. I feel like an utter pagan. Because the reason for that, and this has been a huge discovery for me just in the last few years, as I've already said, is that I have defined spirituality wrongly. I'm now learning to pay attention to every nuance, every synchronicity. I love that word, synchronicity. It's happening all around me. I think it was Elizabeth Barrett Browning said that the whole earth is crammed with heaven, and the bush is burning all the time. But it can only be seen by those who are willing to take their shoes off. Obviously, she's reflecting on the experience that Moses had at the burning bush, correct? Spirituality doesn't have to be ethereal. The Spirit of God, God's Spirit that is first mentioned in the Scripture, is referenced as breath. It's breathing. It's as simple as breathing. The first breath that was ever taken on this planet was not taken by Adam. The first breath that was ever taken on this planet was taken by God. When He formed him and fashioned him, the crown jewel of His creation, after He had finished creating the planet, and then He creates this human species in His exact image and likeness, and bows over him and breathes into his nostrils the breath of life, and his heart thuds for the first time. Blood rushes to his extremities, and his eyes open, and when his eyes open, bowed over him is his Creator, is His reflected image. How beautiful is that? As a matter of fact, before we ever were aware of Him, so that we could adore Him, that imagery I just described to you in Genesis is a reflection of how He adored us before we ever adored Him. See, you're not inferior to Him. You're made in His image and His likeness. Do you think this little one here on the front row and over here, do you think that their parents want to instill in them a sense of inferiority? No, but likeness. This is so important to us to be becoming attuned to His pervasive, God's not evasive, but His pervasive presence. He's constantly paying attention to us. I mean, I love the line in the scripture that says that he is so obsessed that he numbers the hairs on our head. And don't be worried. You know, with you, he remembers the original count. Okay? You know, you think you got to have your hands raised or you got to have a Bible. And I'm not minimizing all those things. But maybe I could have titled this teaching, Just Breathe. Just relax into the presence of God. Become aware of yourself, and that is what causes you to become aware of Him. I mean, we miss this. Is this helping anybody at all? See, we miss this in the routine of our daily lives because we still see ourselves as human beings that are in pursuit of some kind of spiritual experience. And that really is not what you're here for. No, you're not human beings that are in constant pursuit of spiritual experiences. You arrived here, you incarnated, you came out of the realm of spirit, and now you're having a human experience. You don't attain God's presence. It's not to be attained. We're totally, and I know that this is probably repetitious to some degree, but I just want to make sure that you understand that you are marinating in His presence all the time.